Well, hello. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Steven. So, as you can tell, I'm not broadcasting from my normal location. This weekend, I am actually at the United States Military Academy at West Point visiting our daughter, the cadet. It was kind of a last minute thing. Last weekend, the powers that be at West Point had decided that they were going to allow the cadets to finally go off campus for a weekend. So we took the opportunity and flew back here, so I was able to hang out with Cheney. It's been absolutely fantastic. But I'm back in my hotel room, and I wrote this blog called Jane Doe versus the People's Republic of China. It's a parody. It's not real, although I'm sure I'm going to probably get a lot of emails, looking for clarification on this. But it's written as a news article. It has to do with something that's kind of in the news right now with our own military, and that's the concept of diversity and things like that. Many of you may be surprised to hear this, but I'm actually a huge proponent for diversity within our military structure. Think of it this way. The United States has about 350 million people. Of those 350 million people, only a small percentage of them actually fall within what we would consider to be military age, potential recruits, okay? And of that group, you have only a subset that actually has any interest in potentially, laying down their lives for the defense of our nation. So we've got this very, very small group of potential individuals that are willing to join the military. If we further constrain that group to its most limited faction, we're potentially limiting ourselves of extraordinarily valuable talent. Now, with all things that look to, form inclusiveness, people tend to look at the opposite end of the spectrum and they say there's a limited number of slots and, we're going to essentially take some slots and keep them in abeyance so that we can make sure that the proper minority or the proper gender classification is able to diversify in this particular field. I don't agree with that when it comes to, obviously our, civilian world or even our governmental structure, and certainly not within the military. However, I think that when we start looking at the capabilities that are associated with individuals that come from different backgrounds, irrespective of their ethnic background or their religious background or their gender background or anything like that, we need to have the most lethal fighting force possible. And by having, for lack of a better term, an inclusive recruiting process, we have a higher probability of achieving that. That being said, if it becomes the dominant aspect of a fighting force, it can cripple it, okay? The purpose of the military is to be lethal, and anything that gets in the way of that lethality is problematic. So anyways, the blog, like I said, it's parody, but it's an interesting take on how the People's Republic of China is potentially, held liable by our own U.S. domestic laws, which I think is kind of funny. But you'll have to read the blog to actually understand the joke. So that will be going up online on Wednesday morning, Southern California time. And you can read it at artemishq.com/blog. As always, if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. You can comment directly on the blog, or you can email me at steven@artemishq.com. As always, I want you to train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. And above all else, stay safe.